Florida cop accused of misconduct, well, the sexual kind, while on duty, not off duty. Put him on full mask. This is a hell of a story. 30-year-old Justice Feeley-Carim. He was a former West Palm Beach cop. He was arrested several months after allegedly using his badge to coerce a woman into unwanted sexual contact. According to a probable cause affidavit, Justice Feeley-Carim, 30, while on duty, stopped behind two vehicles at a Walmart on 45th Street in West Palm Beach, March 26. Blocking them, blocked the vehicles. Why? WPBPD said the victim was sitting in her friend's car, drinking and smoking marijuana. When the cop exited his patrol car, armed with a police firearm, and approached the passenger side of the vehicle without introducing himself or requesting ID, he shined his flashlight inside their car. Feeley, the cop, then reportedly asked the female passenger to exit the vehicle. As they walked in front of the patrol car, commented on her appearance, telling her she, quote, looked beautiful. Then asked her if she wanted to have sexual intercourse, per the report. He allegedly made inappropriate advances, including a request for sexual contact, saying, quote, well, just touch it. Just touch it for a second, end quote. The victim declined. But the cop persisted, according to the report. Fearing for her safety, the victim reportedly complied with the officer's demand, and she rubbed his genitalia on the outside of his uniform. After allowing the witness to leave, he continued to block the victim's car. The report states that the victim was visibly upset, pleading with the officer to let her go before eventually allowing her to leave. The officer allegedly warned the victim not to report the incident due to surveillance cameras in the parking lot. Okay, now, before I continue this story, what kind of officer do you think he is? I'm not talking about with the information we have now. What kind of officer do you think he's known to be in the community? He's a 30-year-old police officer who is alleged to have engaged in a unwanted sexual contact or advance on an individual who is at this time under his police authority, utilizing his badge to gain access or to force or coerce access of a sexual nature. Now, do you think it's his first time ever doing it? Do you think there are other victims, perhaps? Do you think the department was aware? Could these be possibilities, probabilities? According to WPBPD, the officer was in his 12-month probationary period. During the time of the incident after being hired September 24th, 2024. The complaint against the officer reported 13 days after the incident date on April 7th. The same day, the police department put him on paid leave. And he was later terminated April 16th after a special victims unit determined his behavior to be, in fact, criminal. Criminal. At one point, the officer was Officer of the Month at his previous police department. He served with the Fort Pierce Police Department for nearly 3 years. According to the Fort Pierce Police Department's disciplinary history, there is an allegation of chronic absenteeism. On August 16, 2024, with the department stating that the action taken was resignation. He didn't come to work. The officer turned himself in at the Palm Beach County Jail Saturday, and his bond is set at $200,000 according to court records. And he was forced to surrender his passport. A spokesperson for the West Palm Beach Police Department said the police chief is not available for an interview because there's still an ongoing internal affairs investigation. Now, this is part of the reason why you have psychological examinations of individuals who are police officers because of the extreme ability to violate the public trust, the extreme potential that rests in that badge and that gun, and the public trust that's associated. Now, what they would typically do is give the officer a psychological exam after training. All right, you go to boot camp and you got your basic training in. You wear a uniform with a cloth badge until you become a sworn officer. Then when you become a sworn officer, you have already taken this psychological examination. You took it one time. 6 months, a year, 2 years. There's no mandate to take that test again. Now, sometimes police agencies have a requirement if you kill somebody, or if you have been reported and violated the citizen's right. You know, your chief can mandate that you need to go take a psychological evaluation. And it shouldn't be just an evaluation. It should be for counseling, to be quite honest with you. The same cop on day one may not be the same cop on day 365. And if that has happened, we need to know that. But it's not just about aggression or bias or racism. It's also about predatory behavior like this, which typically a robust psychological evaluation would have discovered. Now, here's the rub. If you ask your police department, do you give psychological evaluations for cops that make it through basic training? They'll say, absolutely we do. Every single one of them. Then ask the second question. And out of those who take the test, how many fail? The answer is likely to be 0. It's an anomaly when they do, which means it's not a test at all. It doesn't fit the standard application of evaluation for anything if everybody passes. All right. Dear brother, thoughts?
Yeah, this type of misconduct happens a lot more frequently than we think. Things like somebody getting shot by a police officer is pretty shocking, and that type of stuff will make the news. But this type of stuff very often won't at all. People won't report because they're afraid, or if they do, it gets lost in translation because the brotherhood's looking out for itself. This is easily one of the most disgusting abuses of power that anybody with a badge could do. One of the worst things that a human being is capable of doing to another human being is to assault them sexually in some form or fashion. And especially when you're somebody not only that we're supposed to look up to keep us safe, but like we're scared of police officers. I mean, like y'all got guns, you got tasers, you got the whole system behind you. There's not really a lot that we can do. Most of us, if we don't really thoroughly know our rights, don't even know where to begin, what to say no to. So, and you're right, as you point out, if there were more frequent psychological evaluations, then I mean, I don't know, a third, half the police officers on the force across the nation wouldn't be qualified. But then again, the qualification standards are pretty low in general. And we see that with things like ICE expansion and how they're pretty much willing to hire anybody. So it's part of the culture. But these are the end results of not really having any scrutiny or standards for who serves.
That's right. Or intentionally dismissing those standards that should apply.